Solace, a Rainbow Quest AU by FC Princess X, narrated by Enigma Glacier. Part 2. Headaches. The first rays of light shone into my face as I pulled myself groggily from my sleep. Wincing slightly, I raised a hand to block the light as I laid there in my bed, my head throbbing gently. I'd need to take some sort of medicine for my headache before it truly made me stay in bed. I sigh and kick the sheets off of me as I sit up and swing my legs over the edge of my bed. I sat there for a few minutes, letting myself wake up more before I stood up and walked to my shelf where I stored my medicine. I slide open a drawer and take out a small red pouch, then walk out to my living room. It was a small space that was usually warmed by a single fire in the corner, while shelves of books sat adorning the walls. Being on my own for so long had left me with a lot of free time to read, so I decided to pick up a few books from different places I'd been to. They all had a different subject to them, different covers, different styles of literature. I still hadn't finished them all yet, but I had plenty enough time to read later. I continue on through my living room and make my way to my small kitchen. A glass lay on the counter already, so I wasted no time filling it with some water from my sink and plopping some pills into my mouth. I had headaches before in the past, but the start of today's seemed to have been lingering with malice, wanting to keep me confined to my bed for days. I sigh and lean on the edge of the counter, the glass sitting empty on the counter once again. It would take a little bit for my headache to die down, so I made my way back to the living room to lie down on the couch. I sigh as I rest my arms over my eyes, darkening the world around me and leaving me with a slight relief and fear.
"I'll wake you up in 30.
Shadow mumbles in my mind as I glance to see him perched by the empty fireplace and staring me down. "Thanks," I muttered softly, and turned my vision black again. Shadow scoffs, staying quiet as the time ticked on quietly. It wasn't long before the tendrils of darkness seeped through my sleep and jabbed me awake. I start and lift my arm off my eyes quickly as the dark lines receded from my vision and trailed back over to Shadow, who still sat by the fireplace with his condescending look trained on me again. I sigh and groan for a moment before rubbing my forehead and sitting up. "We seriously need a better way for you to wake me up than startling me so badly," I say shakily as I take a deep breath, the headache now gone away. Shadow rolls his eyes and disappears again, seeming to not care about anything today. I sigh and get up, heading back to the kitchen to grab my breakfast. I still need to figure out if I want to see Origin today, I mumble to myself as I walk over to my fridge and open it, glancing only momentarily at the contents before I instinctively grab some leftover salad from yesterday. I grab a fork out of the drawer beside me and walk over to the living room again to sit down. A lot of questions were circling around my head. I wonder if time found himself in the old timeline. I think to myself as I munch away at the salad in my hand. I remember one day that my clock I had made shifted time suddenly, so I could only assume he had at least regained something. That, or I was just hoping on something. I finish my salad and lay the bowl on the couch beside me, then lean my head back to stare at the ceiling. Would enough time have passed for them to forget me? For Origin to forget me? I mumble to myself as I sigh and shake the feeling off. I quickly get up off the couch and head back to my room, finally being set on something. I walk over to my nightstand where my scarf and bag were and pick both up, throwing the scarf over my shoulders and then my bag. I make to head towards my desk, yet hesitate, looking down at the scarf hanging loosely around my body. I think for a moment, not wanting it to be hanging so loosely and have any chance of getting blown away and losing it, and then take a look around my room. My eyes settle on a shimmer of gold hanging out from my chest in the corner and quickly go over to grab the shimmering belt. I tie it around my waist and smile for a moment before I reach over to grab my journal from my desk as well as my pen and ink. If I was going out, I might as well keep my journal on me just in case. You never know, an adventure would be waiting around the corner at any time. It's what happened to me the last time.